everybody. Welcome to David Braben's Frontier. A little treat this morning. This is Frontier. This is the Elite 2, if any of y'all played Elite back in the day. One of the first full-out sandbox games there was with interstellar exploration. Look at that beautiful ship. I know what you're thinking. You're looking at these graphics and all, and I know what you're saying, but believe it or not, this was not made in Hollywood. This is all made with in-game graphics here. I know you hear that all the time in games, but you can believe it here. Everything you see here, you will see on the screen. And yes, I do dearly love them. I played the heck out of this game back in about, 1994, I think. I believe that's when Frontier came out. Look at that wonderful cityscape. A couple of Eagle fighters there. The game came out in, I think, October, November of 1993. And I believe it was released over here in the States a couple months later, like in February or March or so. And so I was fresh out of college, just met the woman who was about to become my wife. Well, would become my wife 6-7 years later. And this was one of the things, along with like XCOM, that would eat up my days. This right here is the PC version, the IBM version. This particular version of it is called GL Frontier. It's available. There'll be a link down in the description there. See the ships coming out of hyperdrive, coming out of jump space there. And he's pulled an old switcheroo coming over the freight ship there, taking them out. But this is GL Frontier. It is a legal downloadable copy. Dave Braben is coming out with a new game, supposed to be later this year, supposed to be at the end of 2014, called Frontier Elite. Elite Dangerous. See there, 1993, David Braben. Watch the credits roll by. Wonderful end to the music there. Alright, we are going to go ahead and get started in one of these systems. Let's go ahead and choose, we're going to choose the ROS 154 system. All you got to do is click the screen to get the back menu back. Mars, you could start at Mars, obviously in the Sol system. They recommend the 154 ROS system. Or you could start at, I think it's Lave is the thing. That's where you started in the original Elite game. This is, of course, Elite 2, the sequel to it. So they've thrown that in there for all the old graybeards who want to start in the original, but we'll go ahead and start here. There you go. There's ROS 154. Isn't it lovely? Look at those habitation domes. Getting a little cloud pop in here. It has to sit there and think about it. This game originally came on a double-sided floppy disk, high-density floppy disk. That would be a actual floppy, you know, one of the big 5¼ inch disks. Came on a double-sided one, 720 kilobytes on each side, so it was a 1.5 megabyte disk. This game came on 1.5 megabytes. Isn't it awesome? And you've got an entire universe here. Everything is procedurally generated. And that's how they are able to put an entire universe on one disk. Everything there is real, too. Everything is processed. Everything is moving in real time. That planet, if I was to sit here and just let the computer run for the next 8 hours, you'd see that planet either go set or continue to rise into the sky. I don't know which direction it is actually headed in right at the moment. Here's your spaceship down here. This is your heads-up display for your cockpit. You've got the big radar screen here in the middle that you used for finding items and for combat and all. Here's your clock over here, a little information. You're landed. This is the front view. You got controls across the bottom. This right here, control. This is an eyeball, is what it's supposed to be. See the eyelashes above and below, the eye in the middle, the pupil. That's your sight line. That's supposed to be an eyeball. And it shows you your different views. This is the front view. You click it. You go to your back view. You're now looking out the back of your cockpit across the rear of your ship, back toward the hangar doors right there. That'll look a little bit more, make a little bit more sense when we go to the next view right there. That's sitting behind your ship, looking forward now. Now you can move around with the arrow keys. Hey, there you go. There's the view we just had. You see, we were looking out over the cockpit. There's a hangar back behind us, just like the one sitting right over there beside us. This is Gnarlo Station. This is the ground station here on Ross 154. I'm going to use the mouse wheel. Oh, I'm sorry, plus and minus on the number keys to zoom in. There you see the Eagle fighter. That's just like the one that was blown up, the two that were blown up in the main introductory there. You see? This is a tiny little ship. It's just me sitting in the cockpit there. A little rotating sensor disc behind me. You can see the navigation lights flashing on my engine pylons. A little screen in front, a little green crossed heads-up display, kind of like what you would see in a fighter plane. Alright, let's see. Can I zoom back out again? Okay, come on. There we go. I will zoom on around. As you see, we've got another ship parked over to our side there. It's got its lights running. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit and take a look at that. I like that. Elite ships open 24 hours. Yes, indeed they are. Come on, zoom out. Can we go down? And a circle to the side. Trying to get around. Oh, there's the control tower we just saw. That's what we're passing there. I think the other ship was over in this direction. There we go. There. Isn't that a beauty? Trying to remember what kind of ship that was. It's been a long time since I played. I used to know these by heart. I don't... Maybe an Anaconda? I'm not sure. But you look how dangerous it looks with the teeth painted on the front. Like some kind of evil fighter craft. Alright. We're going to zoom back in here. There's the control tower. As you see, we can look around. We can even come back over this way if we wanted to, and back out until we got into the habitation domes over here. There you go. The Cool Cola Vega Line Sirius Light. Bustling metropolis down here of Gnarlo. Alright, let's go back to our ship. Let's look at some of the other things. You can see a missile hanging down there below. I've got one rocket on either side. Let's go back to front view. I think the planet may be getting a little higher there. Alright. The next up, we can click there, and this will give us our space map. You see, we are at Ross 154. We've got all these planets around here. We are deep in the core system, so I'm going to right-click, and when you do, you can change the plane here. This is the plane of the galactic ecliptic that we're moving. That's what the green is. The little red lines, you see the different systems. The red lines show how far above and below. It's actually got a 3D universe here. I believe we can click on this and it'll show, there we go. It'll show the normal connecting routes in between all the systems that we can possibly reach. For instance, you see there, if we wanted to go to Sol, which is over here, we'd have to go to Bernard Star and then, because the circle is how far we can get. Only the ones within the circle. So let's go back over to a top-down view. And as we shuffle around, you'll see if it's not within the circle, that's the limit of our jump drive that we currently have mounted in the ship. So it looks like we're going to go to Bernard Star. First, we're going to look at Ross here. The little green dot that moves around from system to system is whichever one you have actually picked out for your information screens. We'll leave it on Ross, and we'll click on this. As you see, Ross is a stable system with 6 major bodies. Got the main sun and 5 planets. Well, 3 planets and 2 moons going around this planet. We're on one of the planets, as you see right there, Merlin. Merlin's a world with indigenous life and an oxygen atmosphere. Its major starport is Scirocco Station. It has a 28-hour day. Like I said, if you sat here for 28 hours, you would see that planet back here. It would, over the course of 28 hours, it would go all the way up around the screen, night would fall, etc. 28 hours later, it would come back up, and it would eventually end up right there in the exact same position in the sky. Everything is physics-based, everything works in real time. So let's go back here. So that's Merlin. So we got a major starport here, Scirocco Station. Surface temperature is -4 degrees Celsius. It's a pretty cold damn planet. But it does have indigenous life. There's Willow. You see Willow does not have a starport. That's Aster. That's the gas giant we see back there. The ringed gas giant. Obviously it doesn't have any star points. Spaceports. Ross 154.3 and Dust Ball. So we are at the only starport in the entire system. Now what we can do, right there would tell us some details about it. It's under federal colonial rule. Capitalist economy. It's part of the Federation. There are 2 empires here, or two large government divisions. You've got the Federation, and off to the right, a good distance, you have the imperial space. And these are kind of your 2 areas that are at odds with each other. And then you can look at what its economy is. It has imports. This is your major imports, what they pay you the most for to bring in. Your minor imports. If any of y'all played any of the games like Trade Wars, hell, EVE Online, any of that kind of stuff, you'd be familiar with this. One of the major ways of making money in the game is to take your ship, fly to a planet that has major exports that you can buy it cheap and bring them to another planet that has major imports that you can sell for high. Or you can get into the illegal goods trades over here. Alright. Clicking on this will give you a actual view of the system itself. Here's your zoom in and zoom out keys. See, there's Aster and Dust Ball. If we zoomed on out, you'd see the other planet in the system come into view. Double click on it, centers. I double clicked just then, I went right to the sun. So like I said, here we are on Aster. We'll double click on Aster. Got to get it exactly on there though. There's Aster, the ringed gas giant, and we are on Merlin, the innermost planet, and innermost moon, and Willow's the outermost. And you can right click and swivel around here just like you can on the main map, and there's Scirocco Station. Alright, let's go back out again. We go here, we can ordinarily you would click here if you were on another planet, and you can set waypoints that way where you want to go. Information, there's our ship, an Eagle long-range fighter. We have a Class 1 hyperdrive, maximum 8 light-year jump with a Class 1 hyperdrive. You saw the distance and all. In the story that comes with the manual, gives you a little background history and stuff. You have your grandfather was Commander Jameson. He was the commander in the original Elite game. And this is the ship he left you when he died. It's an old ship, but it's at 100% hull condition. So you're good to go. It does not have a shield generator. It does have a scanner. It gave you an autopilot, which is a big improvement over the original Elite game. The original Elite game, you had to use your skills to like dock at places manually and eventually earn up to buying an automatic pilot so that you could automatically dock. But here you start you out one, and most importantly for us at the moment, atmospheric shielding. If you don't have atmospheric shielding, you can't land at planets like this that have an atmosphere. You either have to land on planets with no atmosphere, or you have to stick to the spaceports that are in orbit around planets. And we've got a 1 megawatt pulse laser. That's the lowest powered laser you can have, but hey, it's something. As you see down here, we have no cabins, so we can't carry any passengers. We could have it retrofitted, but ship this small, it's not really of use. And we have 3 cargo space, with 1 being used, and 100 credits. We can click again, it'll show us our status, Commander Jameson. Standing federal rank, we have no federal rank with the Federation here. We are an outsider to the Imperials. You can raise your rank by doing missions, and you can do missions for both sides, but it makes it very difficult. You know, if we got to top rank and federal rank, we'd have a long, hard haul in us trying to raise up our Imperial rank, because they wouldn't trust us very much. But you can do it. Elite rank is how well you are at combat. You see here it goes harmless. As you get better at combat, you go to mostly harmless, and then somewhat harmless, and then kind of sort of harmless. Just joking, but below average, average, above average, that kind of stuff, and eventually you get up to dangerous, deadly, and the highest rating, which is elite. Here's your legal status. We have a clean record with all the different things, the police and both federations. See, no credit, no record, no medals, and no permits. There's our cargo. Currently we are using 1 ton of our cargo space for hydrogen fuel. That's what you use to jump with, and the green line, that's also what you use to maneuver with. So there you are. Now what do you do with the cargo space? Well, you get on the phone here and you call the shipyard here at Shirako Station. You can request a launch, which we don't want to do right yet because our cargo hold is empty. You can refit your ships, buy new ships, repair, sell them. Let's just look at a few of the different ships they have. There's a Constrictor. And I think that may be the one that was sitting over there on the platform beside us. Yep, a Constrictor. There you go. A Puma. That is, if I remember correctly, that is the largest ship in the game right there. A 1,000 ton ship. Another Constrictor, and a Tiger Trader, which isn't a bad ship itself. Said repairs and servicing, which we don't need. We can contact the local police if we had to pay fines or something. And we can get upgrades. You can get new guns, new weapons, that sort of stuff. What we're going to do is we are going to go to the stock market, and as you see, everything you can buy is listed here. All those items that you saw earlier, imports, exports, any illegal stuff that you could buy here, like if there was some narcotics for sale possibly or if you wanted to sell narcotics on the black market, you'd find it here. But before we do that, we need to take a look at where we're going. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Bernard Star and then go to Sol. Bernard Star to Sol is a very lucrative market. Bernard Star is an industrialized planet. Agricultural planet. Sol is an industrialized planet. I think that's the way it works. One of them makes computers and machinery. The other one produces lots of animals and fruit and veg. One of them wants the fruit and veg, one of them wants the robots and the machinery, so you can just fly back and forth between the two and make tons of money that way. We'll know here in just a second, so let's highlight Barnard Star and let us see what it is that it does. Its major imports, there you go, it's the industrial one. Grain, fruit and veg, animal meat, and minerals. So let's go back to Scirocco here, look at the stock market, and find what we can export. Oops, actually, let's go back to Ross here and see what they export. That's the way you do it, right here. So we're going to go here. We export animal meat. So that means you can buy animal meat cheap here. We know Barnard Star is a major importer of animal meat, so that's what we're looking at. Stock market, animal meat. Animal meat, 94.5 per ton. We got 100 cash. It looks like we'll be able to buy 1 ton of animal meat. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom. Alright, we got 5 credits left. I don't think we're going to be able to use it for anything. We're going to be flying with 2 things of cargo space remaining, but that's just the way it's going to be. It's not worth buying anything like water, these little cheap things here, water, liquid oxygen and all. You're only going to make money on them if you're buying huge quantities, like one of those huge ships. So there. We will go back here. We are going to request permission to take off now. Let us make sure that we have Barnard Star picked on our map here, and that sets Barnard Star. If you got the green around it, that will set it as our destination whenever we go to hyperspace. So what I'm going to do is change my viewpoint to third person view here. We are going to zoom out a little bit. You've got to call and get a launch request. You got to ask permission to launch, because if you don't, they do not like you taking off without permission, just like our airport wouldn't, and they will heavily fine you, and we do not have money for a fine right now. So let us hit, this is takeoff, this is this one right here. There you go. Turns our identification markers on. This raises our landing gear, which we'll do after we take off. So let's go ahead and take off here. That's the big cloud as we come up. We're going to pull back on the stick, and then we are going to hit enter and give it some gas. We'll sit here and watch Scirocco Station disappear behind us. Huge acceleration. Let's get our landing gear up. Look at that. We fly on up through the clouds, watch the habitation domes and all disappear behind us. Look at our front view. There you go. View over the back, and the view around. You see the planet starting? We can start seeing the curvature of the planet there now around us as we get high enough. Scirocco Station's disappearing. We are high enough now that we can jump to hyperspace. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to make our jump. Let's go to first person view, and you see the stars appear as we have left the atmosphere. And we emerge out. Alright, give me just a second here. Let's turn music off after hyperspace. Turn music on. We just want docking music right now. When I'm playing the game, I'll play all of them, but music's a little bit overwhelming if you're just playing and trying to talk over it. So, alright, we are here at Barnard Star. We are going to go to this right here, which is the system map. We are headed for, we want to go to Birmingham World. We will zoom on in on it. And we have a couple of choices, Anderton Depot or Boston Base. Boston Base, as you see, is the station in orbit around it. Nice good ringed station like what you'd have in 2001 there. And we are going to choose it. You click there, and we are setting Boston Base as the target for our autopilot. Alright, so we can go ahead and turn on the autopilot now. We're in manual control. Goes engines off and then autopilot. You see all the different planets swirling around us on the radar. Barnard Star is 9.4 astronomical units away. So what are we going to do? We are going to go to, oh, and as you see there, it's no longer the 1st of January. It's now the 6th of January. We have traveled that, it took us 5 days to go through the hyperspace jump there. So we are now going to go use they call this the Star Dreamer. It's basically fast forward. It speeds up time, puts you in a sense of suspended animation, and hopefully our little ship here, our little person sitting in his ship, hopefully he's got bathroom facilities plugged into him already, and hopefully like a shiatsu massage chair to keep him from getting bed sores. Otherwise, that's a long time to be sitting in one little chair. So let's go to first person view, and we're going to click to autopilot. It's taking us there. Let's fast forward, shall we? That's 10 times normal speed, 100 times normal speed. See the minutes clicking on by. 1,000 times. And then you can go 10,000 times. We don't want to go too fast. We want to make sure we don't overshoot. One of the things with the speed controls here, as we get closer, you see the label spreading out there. As we get closer to the core of the system, and they become more distinguishable. There's the star off to the upper left. It looks like a red class star. Red colored star. Do not know what class it is. We could look it up and see. Coming in on Birmingham World. We're less than a quarter of an AU away from it now. Moving very fast. We should see Boston Base appearing here in just a moment. We're actually down to where that's calculating kilometers now instead of AUs. Turn the speed on down. We are 75,000 kilometers away. There we go. Now we've locked into Boston Base, which is off here to the side. I'm going to call and ask for docking clearance. You have to ask for the clearance as well. And this is why I love leaving the music on. Who doesn't like listening to the Blue Danube as you're going in for a docking? As you see, we blew past Boston Base by a large degree. It's now 14,000 kilometers behind us. So the autopilot's nice for going long distances, but once you get into these tight spaces, it can really, we're 30,000, what, 300,000 kilometers away from it now. And we got been way so long, we've got to reapply for clearance. Autopilot's good for short distances. Said once again, Newtonian physics. I think I will cut here till we are actually close to the base and we keep slingshotting past. We stop slingshotting back and forth around it. Alright guys, by overriding the autopilot here, I was able to finally fly in. It wanted to keep swooping back and forth. Said sometimes you have to do that. You have to take over control and make sure that you have not going to just keep flying back and forth past it at thousands of kilometers a second. As you see, our actual speed is 0, so we are going to try to dock with it once again. Let's request docking clearance. And then we will go to first person view. You could do this with the autopilot, but it also wants to try and ram you into the side of the thing sometimes. So we're going to set our kilometers to 100 kilometers an hour. Go ahead and turn the autopilot on. Where are you going? I guess it doesn't like to dock if you're way close to it. Yeah, for some reason it decided to fly off another 1,000 kilometers. Alright, let's see if it's going to slow us down in time. I'm going to sit here ready to go to manual control just in case it tries to bump us into the side or the bottom, which it's been known to do. You want to be approaching at about 100 kilometers an hour. Yep, see, it's getting us awful close to the top there. I think I'm going to have to go to manual control to keep us from crashing into the top of the dock. Fortunately, this isn't like the original Elite. Once you get close enough to the dock, it'll match your rotation to it. Whoa, no, up. Whoa. Now I almost crashed it. Once you get in the dock, everything is automated after that. There we go. It's going to pull us in now and take us into a docking bay. I think docking bay 1 is where it's taking us. And close the bay door behind us. Fantastic. Welcome, I'm Police Officer Wagner. Hello, what have we here? Looks like you got a landing light out. Do you realize it's illegal to fly your ship in this state? Why, ought I take you down to the station and have you fined? So hit P to pander to the prick, or any other key to give them the finger. Well, since we've only got 2.5 cash now, since they took out our landing fee, let's pander to them and say, oh yes, I'm sorry, officer. I'm going to have it fixed right away, blah, 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 blah. And there you go. We can go to the stock market now and see we got that ton of animal meat. We bought it for 90 something, and as you see, we can sell it for 176, almost twice what we paid for it. So let's go ahead and sell it, and there we go. We've already made 78.7 credits on our little trip there. We've already 78 credits to the black of what we were when we started the game. So, alright. That's the basics of Elite here, of Frontier here. There's tons of other stuff you can do. As you see, we can go to the bulletin board. And look, there's someone wanting to buy narcotics. If we were working on the black market, have to be careful. Some of these are also police traps. The game is like that. We've got people wanting passage for a small group, so we'd have to have a ship with cabins to do that. Another small group wanting to go somewhere. Here is give to the Guardians of the Free Spirit. Alright, right there is people asking for charity handouts. Stuff wanting to know if you've seen a certain person. Look right here, some admirers wish Melinda Seymour to have a fitting career end in the 61 Sigma system for 5,000 credits. You may think they're wanting to throw a party. No, fitting career end, they're wanting us to go and assassinate somebody and willing to give us 5,000 credits for it. Larger ships, you need to hire a crew. Here's somebody wanting to be a crew. I'm looking to see if... Okay, didn't see any this time. They sometimes want you to take packages, work as a courier, and you'll see things wanted. We want you for the Federation, where you can work for the military and that sort of thing. So, all right, there you are. That shows you the basics of it. You can do that. You can become a bounty hunter, go out and hunt pirates, that sort of thing. What we are going to do is we are going to hit twice. I'm going to save it. We're saving it as Jameson, so we have saved our game now. Don't hit exit. Exit will take you back out to the... I thought exit was for the menu. That takes you back out to the main menu screen to start the game. And we are going to launch request. Launching from an orbital station like this is totally automatic. It will move us out to the launching deck and then kick us out from the ship. And once it does that, we are going to turn around to our rear view. There you go. There's the Boston base. Swivel around, get a view of us leaving the orbiting craft there. And as you see, it's in real time too, because you saw how small our ship was as we went into the docking bay right there. So there you go. That is my little brief run through of GL Frontier, which is the GL port for OpenGL, actually, for Frontier here. So next time up, we're going to take a look at Pioneer, which is a modern update of the Frontier game. And we'll see you then. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.